Good morning.
Hello, hello.
Actually, it's not morning. What am I thinking? It's
It's
afternoon.
depends where you live.
It's true. Somewhere it's morning.
All right. How is everybody doing today? I'm going to imagine you're all telling me that you feel awesome and wonderful, and it's the happiest day of your lives. So,
It is for me.
um, so we with the last AMA we had, there was a lot of success with actually inviting some of you guys up to the stage and to ask questions. So we're going to spend the first half of this asking some of the questions that we get through that form that you guys submit every week for us, and then we're going to spend the second half actually inviting you guys up on stage to ask questions live on the spot. So if you do want to um, ask any questions, be sure to raise your hand, and once we get to that part, we'll begin inviting you up. But with that said, um, it is December 6th, 2021, about 2 p.m. EST, and we're going to be starting our development-focused AMA for the day, for the week. Super glad to be here, and I don't know if we have any opening statements from these guys, but Fox and Tango, super awesome.
Yeah, I would like to say a few words. That's okay.
Absolutely.
Great. Yeah, so obviously the format for our AMAs is always evolving. And one thing we'd like to do at the start of every AMA is just kind of give a brief overview and I guess recap of the past week, which in the crypto space can be basically a lifetime because every week there's so many things that are happening. And then also last week we had a AMA where we kind of experimented with a new format with inviting members of the AMA community to ask things, and there's no, but we will try our best to call up as many people as we can, and yet still try to keep these to a reasonable length as well. So with that said, this last week has been really eventful. We announced our expansion plans into Avalanche with Crystal Vale, along with sort of how that will actually play out in terms of economics and all that type of stuff as well. And there's still a lot that we have to kind of hammer out exactly how it will play out in terms of airdrops and things like that. We'll be sharing some of those things in the coming days and weeks as well. So stay tuned for that. I get asked a lot, how is it going to work? How's it going to work? And so far, the answer is that we haven't yet announced the specific things for that. So just stay tuned for those. We will make sure to give everybody enough heads up that you will have the opportunity to have yourself essentially get put into the best situation to actually have the advantage from those things. So that was a pretty big thing last week. Avalanche is obviously a very strong chain. There's a lot of users there, a lot of liquidity. It has really good technology, and it's just a really awesome and clear choice for us. So really excited about that. Other things, we launched our NPC shop, I guess you could say, where you can now sell your items for quests and save up for those eggs. And it's just sort of our first foray into some of those in-game NPC stores, and also into the upcoming, I guess, alchemist crafting sort of thing, where you will be able to basically have actual utility for those items that you are receiving as well. So I think that was a huge success from the standpoint of having that get launched, and it was very smooth. I haven't seen any issues with that at all yet, so that's awesome. And then we also launched our quests even on, I think it was Monday, into production. So it's been about a week now that they've been live, and there has been some issues with the API. It's strange because for about the past 2 weeks, the API has been basically not able to index all of the events. And I think personally, I mean, I've still been trying to figure out why this is happening. But from what I can tell, it seems like not all of the events are actually being sent to that node. And I think it's because we've got too many events basically trying to work through it. So from that standpoint, we had to kind of on the fly add in some extra things there to refactor that so that it will query information straight off of the blockchain, and always have like a fallback method there for it to work. And our amazing team over there has been really awesome with that, especially this guy that we have on stage here, Beetle Dude. I think it's your first time on an AMA, and he was
Thank
the
you.
one who was very instrumental in basically making all of that still work even without our API as the primary source of information there. So really awesome job over there, Beetle Dude. And actually, would you like to spend a minute and just kind of say hi?
Absolutely. So, hello everybody. Beetle Dude. Obviously, my first time up on stage, so a little nervous, but I think I'll get through it. But I've been with the project for about 2 months now, and it's been super, super fun, super exciting. All the stuff we're working on is amazing, and it's just been a blast to work on it. So, but yeah, come from a web development background, and that's mostly what I've been working on here as well. And it's been just a great trip so far. Thanks, Fox.
Awesome.
Can't give Beetle enough kudos here. Anytime we see an issue or hear of some community feedback that could involve some development, he's just right on it. Knows exactly what he's doing. So we've got an amazing team, and everyone plays a part. But a lot of the stuff that you guys see, the improvements that happen, from your feedback, come from Beetle. So really good stuff. I would also say, Fox, you were mentioning about, just some of the API woes and other things that we're dealing with. You guys have done a great job there. But just wanted to put in a plug too for some of the new talent that we've brought on that are going to be helping with that. Because I know that's not a permanent solution. We know that we're going to continue to encounter RPC issues, and just want to make it more solid and robust. So we do have more people that are going to be dedicating their time to solving these issues. So I don't know if you want to mention anything else there. I just wanted everyone to know that, we're taking it very seriously.
Yeah, you stole the words out of my mouth. Exactly what I was going to say there is we've actually added a extremely solid and smart and very talented guy to help us to do our API stuff. And he started Monday, or I guess actually no, it was last week. And he's been doing things over like the weekend. And he has so many ideas already, and he's just really solid. I'm super excited to see what he's able to come up with. And it's very important that we redo our API to be more robust and have it able to scale horizontally as we grow is very important. And then especially as we're starting to go cross chain in the like upcoming months, it'll be very important to have a sort of like a unified API that will store information across all of those like individual like ecosystems and have them all be in one centralized place. So there's a lot of stuff there that he'll be working on, and I'm very excited to see what he's able to come up with. So awesome to have him. He's actually here in the audience. I see him over there, Pinecone. So really excited to have him. And then speaking of new talent, we also hired a very solid Solidity dev last week. He actually is from the Avalanche ecosystem, and he's got a lot of experience there, but he's just really solid in Solidity, and he knows how to write like really good unit tests. He's already been overhauling some of our stuff there, and he'll be instrumental in all of those things that are upcoming with those quests, like for the meditation circle and for mining and for gardening, and then on like into lands and things like that as well. So we're in a very good spot. On our team, there's a lot of very highly skilled, highly talented people, and really it's the only reason that our project is at the place it's at right now is because of all of the amazing, highly skilled people on our team. So it's not just like one or two of us. There's a ton of people involved. Everyone's really pulling hard. And we couldn't really do it without every single one of them. So, oh, there's my dog. Zeno, back over to you.
All right, yeah. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Our first question comes from Discord user Cohen. Are there plans to add more safety warnings when listing your hero for sale, like typing in a passphrase or anything? Tango?
Yeah, and this question might be old, or maybe not everyone has seen it, but that is actually live already. So if you do go to sell something, we've done a pretty good job of making them visually different. Unfortunately, the functionality is pretty much the same when you're going to rent or sell. But now in the sell menu, it will actually make you type the word sell as an extra feature there. At some point, I've seen comments. At some point, we can only do so much. We don't want to make you go through a marathon to be able to sell a hero, but we feel like this is a very visual and it's easy to click on buttons and not be paying attention to what you're clicking on. It's a lot harder to type the word sell and not pay attention to what you're typing. So we feel like this is probably as far as we can take that without it being cumbersome, but we feel like it's a pretty good feature just to make sure that nobody's accidentally selling something at the wrong price. So please, if you're going to sell something and you're seeing that, type the word sell to confirm it. Please make sure you're double checking the price that you're setting it at. And there's, like I said, there's only so many steps that we can do to put that in there. But we feel super horrible when people accidentally sell things at prices lower than they expected to or wanted to. So that should all be in there. If anybody, again, has suggestions on ways to make this better, we're always open to those suggestions. Please provide your feedback, but we feel like it's a good place.
Yeah, we definitely every time somebody's reported that they accidentally sold instead of renting or something like that, we do discuss it. We take it very seriously, and like Tango said, we do feel really, really bad because we don't want that to happen to anybody. So hopefully with these new measures, it'll make things a little bit safer to avoid those sort of situations. And we also want to take steps in the future to continue moving in that direction. The next question comes from Juggy. Are there plans to add more volume control or more specific volume control to the game? When I use headphones, it doesn't get low enough. You want to take that one, Tango?
Yeah. So this one, I mean, there's not a ton of information on this. It's not a high priority for us. Obviously, we've got other things that we're working on. But I will say that we are upgrading our Howler module, is what it's called, which is handling a lot of the audio. We're trying to do a few more advanced things to better highlight the work that Pogo has done for us and to make the sounds and future audio that's coming to the game. We want it to just be super professional. And so we're upgrading that module, which should give us better control over what's happening there. And so that is a piece of information that I'll take away, and we'll see if we can get some more granular controls in there. But again, it's not a huge high priority, but it is something we're looking at.
And I did want to just reiterate, if anybody is going to want to ask questions in the second half of this, go ahead and raise your hand. Normally we have a bunch, but I don't have any requests right now. So I just wanted to make sure you guys know to do that. Our next question comes from user Ishz. It's ISHZ. Are there any plans to make the cost to rent a hero lower than summoning to make it more appealing? Right now, it actually a lot of times costs more to rent a hero than to just summon yourself. You want to take that one, Fox?
More to rent. So I'm trying to figure out what's being asked exactly, but yeah. So currently, if you want to hire a hero, you pay the hire fee, and then you also pay the fee for that hero to summon. And oftentimes, the fee that you're paying for summoning is the higher of those two, and that's just because as time has kind of passed, a lot of heroes have already summoned a bunch of times. Some of the Gen Zeros are starting to hit their cap, which is, I think, like 30 joules, I want to say. Actually, I'm not 100% clear on that. But so over time, as heroes have like more advanced jobs and they have like less summons available, it can be more expensive to summon. And the intent there is, it's always kind of a like risk versus reward thing where when you do summon, I mean, you're kind of like rolling the dice to like see, are you like really lucky and are you ending up with a shiny like advanced class or like a mythic or something, then like you could potentially make a lot of money off that. And if you aren't as lucky, then you might get a hero that you have to sell for probably even like less than it costs you to summon it sometimes. And that's kind of the like risk involved with that. As far as excuse me, as far as renting, we do have other things in the works. for a bit further along the pike there, which would be the ability to rent heroes out in a truer sense of the word, where you can actually have control of that hero for perhaps a few days or a week and pay like a rental fee, and then you'd have the ability to send them on quests and basically keep the like rewards of all those things as well. So there's stuff there we're looking at as well, which will kind of play into our future forays into like scholarships and things as well.
Yeah, and I will just add on to that too that, sometimes it might be cheaper to just use your own heroes to summon, but it depends what you're looking for, right? I mean, I don't have quite a diverse gene pool as some other players do, and so I end up running into, well, I can't hire anymore because they're either related or I'm just getting the same things over and over, and I want to get something new, somebody with better stats, and so it's definitely worth it in those cases to go find. It's really just depending what you're looking for. You want to get some shiny mythics, you're going to have better chances summoning with other shiny mythics. And if you don't have one, it may be worth it to rent one. But ultimately, the fees are in place to be able to reward the players and to go back into our questing funds and be able to actually give out the rewards that are being given out. So ultimately, you can pay the summoning fee for your own hero or a rented hero, but it also needs to be worth it to somebody to actually let you summon with their hero. So not a ton that can be done with some of those fees, but like Fox said, there's plenty of other cool things that are coming down the road too.
Zeno, I don't know if you're talking, but you're muted.
Sorry, I'm the ability to invite people up on stage is not allowed right now, so I'm just looking through the menu trying to figure that out while I ask these questions. The next question comes from Leo Fitz. Are there any plans for any holiday-themed maps? If you want to take that one, Tango.
Yeah, and I did turn on the ability to request to speak there, so hopefully.
Yeah, somebody
helps.
already did. Thanks, Tango.
So the holiday thing stuff, I'm going to keep this short. We've already done some holiday stuff, fun little things that we add in there. We've definitely talked about it. We love the idea of making things fun and enjoyable and ever-changing. The reality of it is we've, kind of overbooked ourselves and overstretched ourselves on a few things. So I don't know how much we're going to be getting in, but it's always something we're looking at doing, maybe some dusting of snow or some different things that might happen there. But the answer is that we have done it before. We are looking forward to doing it again. But a lot of those assets and a lot of that time might be going into, rather than just making frivolous little updates here and there, to actually making a seamless and enjoyable experience between chains. There's going to be a lot of new art and a lot of new music and a lot of new places to experience, on Avalanche and other chains down the road. So that's kind of where a lot of that art effort is going toward. And then if there's fun little things we can do in the meantime, we're definitely going to try to fit those in. But no definitive plans. It's not part of our official roadmap, is what I'll say. But we do love it. We're excited about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like you saw some things for Halloween. I'd be surprised if you didn't see anything for, upcoming winter solstice / Christmas / whatever else is out there. So, yeah, stay tuned.
I'm hoping we see some like killer snowmen. That would be pretty sick. This next question, are there plans to be able to actually control or move your avatar through the world of DFK as opposed to point and click, which is what we have right now? Do you want to take that one, Beetle?
Absolutely. So it's definitely on our long-term roadmap. I don't know that we have a specific timeline for it yet, but I know that the kind of preliminary stages of research have already started. We kind of have a secret cabal of Unity developers here at DFK in the background who also do kind of web stuff. So I know the excitement is there to get that added in. We all kind of, I think, have a preference for being able to control your heroes directly. I think that would be an amazing feature to have. So it's definitely on the roadmap. We will, keep you updated as we get closer to releasing that, and probably, get some ideas of how we can make that work in the best way. Kind of combine that with what we have so far. So yeah, definitely, hopefully coming.
Yeah. I'll just add to that, again, we do have some amazing developers, amazing talent. People are looking into these things. And we definitely do not intend for every single thing that we're doing in the game to be like our current quests, where you load up heroes and just let them go off and do their thing. We want some engaging, real-time stuff to happen, especially as we start looking at PvE and PvP stuff. And so it's absolutely on the roadmap, and we're looking forward to what we can do.
Yeah, like exploring things on the map, like entering into a dungeon and stuff like that. It's all stuff we've spent a lot of time talking about.
Well, and in addition to that, we've had this idea of passive versus active questing. So just a brief example, this is not how it's actually going to work, but right now, if you want to go foraging, you click some heroes and say, go off and go foraging. In the future, just imagine if you could just walk into a bush and start foraging for stuff. It's just something that we want to bring that interactivity to the game.
I am personally excited about that. I'm excited about this whole thing. Fox, this next question comes from Crypto Bobo. Are there any anti-whale measures in place for lands? How are regular players going to be able to get land without competing with the whales?
Yeah, so it's not just going to be sort of like a auction or a sale where it's like, here's all the lands, everyone hurry up and try and buy them. We've spoken about that a few times in the past as well, but there's a lot of people that have that maybe presumption, I guess, of like how it will play out. But it'll actually involve you having to have heroes that are a certain level that can actually qualify to complete a quest that will be required to do for these lands. So it's a lot more interactive, and it's trying to basically reward those that are actually playing the game, that are actually like leveling up their heroes and are able to complete those quests basically. And then after they do that, essentially what it'll be is it'll allow them to have the rights basically to uh, essentially have like a sale for that land basically. So it'll still cost X amount of jewels in order to do it. But if you're the first one to complete that quest, then you'll have exclusive access to that opportunity for a certain amount of time. And we're still trying to figure out exactly how that'll work with the price points. And if you're the first one to complete the quest, but you don't have enough jewels to buy the land, you could still sell that opportunity to other people as well. So in the end, it'll still be a pretty expensive thing to own land, and a lot of whales will end up with those. But it's one of those things that we want to also like reward regular players and have them have the opportunity and chance to have a shot at that as well.
All right. Let's see. Our next question comes from Foxtrot. Can you elaborate more on what utility professions have aside from cheaper stamina cost? What does it mean when I level up my profession, and how does that affect the gameplay? If you want to take that one, Tango.
Yeah, so there's a lot of information around professions that we're still, I wouldn't necessarily say finalizing, but we're still working into the game. So you'll see a lot more come into play as the game progresses and as more features become available. But essentially, if you look at a profession, I mean, we want to make sure that, if your profession for your hero is a miner, then they're maybe not going to be the best forager. Or if you're a really good fisher, you might not be the best miner, right? We wanted to make sure that it made sense contextually as far as the story is concerned. So people can start getting more immersed into the story and into their heroes, because that's only going to continue to grow. And so as the game progresses, you'll see maybe a fisher who is really good at fishing can start doing additional, more active quests and active professions rather than just some of these passive quests that we're doing today. So ultimately, take any like MMORPG that you're playing or that you've looked at, kind of generally figure out what professions look like in some of those things, and you'll get some of the basic concepts of what we're trying to do. So, mining might be able to smelt some things and make some types of different ingots or metals or whatever that could be useful in crafting, and certain professions might be better at certain crafts. And so it's all going to come into play. There's other aspects of your heroes as far as their elements and their backgrounds that might come into play as well, and that's all going to come together to kind of make a unique identity for your hero and what they're good at. So it's going to be really cool.
Cool. I'm going to shift away from the questions we'd already gotten. I'm going to start inviting people up on stage to ask their questions. Superior Form, let's go ahead and invite you and get you up here, buddy.
Accept.
There we go. How are you doing?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Cloud
Okay,
Strife,
great.
love it.
So just want to say thank you to the entire team. Frisky, I absolutely love the work you're doing with everybody. This is amazing. Been here since day 3. So my first question is, are you guys still thinking about that commoner hero, or kind of a commoner? Or, I think Professor Tango had spoken about it many weeks ago. Is this something that you guys are still working through and seeing if at some point you're going to introduce that into DeFi Kingdoms?
Yeah. So the commoner idea was having the ability for players to basically come in for a very small entry point and still have the ability to kind of play and not necessarily earn as much from that. We talked about that a little bit, and we haven't really headed too far along like the road on that yet. But Professor Tango, anything you want to say on that?
So there's a couple of concepts that we're looking at. One of them is just, we're, as was mentioned, we're looking at the ability to kind of move around in the game and kind of do some things that way. When we implement those types of things, it actually doesn't make a lot of sense for you. You don't want, if you have 50 heroes, you don't want all 50 heroes just plopped into the game running around at the same time. Although there are some cool things we're going to do with that. But the basic idea is that you're not your hero. You are you. You've set up a profile. You've got a little picture in the corner, and you just utilize your heroes. You summon them into the game. You help them go questing. You help them do these different things. But you're still a very important character in the game, and so we want to kind of reference that somehow. And so that's kind of a basic idea we've tossed around of, instead of just having lesser heroes that summon in and try to build that into an existing lore that may or may not quite fit, we're just thinking, well, if I was walking around the marketplace, what would I be seeing? Would it be my number one hero? Would it be somebody I select at random? But rather, it makes sense that it's just me. It's my profile, my character running around. So if that comes to fruition, if we actually implement an idea like that, there's going to be plenty of things that you should be able to do without having to have, a hero to be able to go do those. And so, again, none of this is built in. It's all kind of still in the works as we're thinking about the best way to do that. But ultimately, why make you go buy a hero to do some basic questing or some basic actions within the game when you've already set up a character, right? When you joined the game in the first place. So, again, you are going to need a hero for any of the advanced things or any of the profession quests that are out there. You have to have those professions. That's just how it works. But we are hoping to make some basic things available, just to make the game more enjoyable until you can work up your way to being able to own and play with one of our standard heroes. So again,
Yep.
very basic. None of this is legitimized yet, but something we absolutely think about quite a bit.
Thank you so much.
And the like play to earn aspect, obviously like you'll earn more if you invest more. That's sort of like par for the course. But also like scholarships will start to come into play there as well, where like you'll have like some guilds out there that will be able to help players to sort of like start on it and sort of like rent and or borrow heroes from other people as well.
Yeah. And I will say we're trying to figure out the best way to work this in, because some aspects of the game are very hero centric, right? And so you might have a hero who is running a guild or owning the land, basically. He's the king of that land. But as a player, your profile is actually part of a guild, right? It's not that you have one hero in every single guild. And again, things could change because we've got stuff to do. But
Exactly.
the concept is that you are a player, you are the person that we want to get involved. And so we're going to have this weird dichotomy of hero-centric things versus player-centric things, and we want to make sure that it's balanced out properly so people coming in can enjoy the game and then still look forward to getting heroes and do additional things.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. Good question. We just on top of that, we will have a lot more specifics in these once lands are out and we, have some good mechanics behind how that's all working.
Awesome. All right, Pump Skull 5. I'm going to invite you up next. Come on down.
Hey guys, a question about the level of quests we have for foraging and fishing. I know hopefully this week we get to start leveling up our heroes that are at 2K. And Hubert has mentioned before that at the higher level you are, it doesn't make as much sense to do lower level quests. Will the higher level quests start to come out in tandem with adding gardening and mining, or are we releasing all 4 professions and then upping the level of those quests?
Yeah, so that's right. As you start to get higher level in your professions, you'll start to have like less and less returns on skill ups, and yet you'll get like more and more returns on the items you're finding. So yeah, in order to continue to progress on your skills, you'll have to have higher level quests. And I know that Hubert is like already starting to think about, like adding probably every 10 levels or so, adding a quest. And how it'll work with that is you have to at least be level 10 to even start those quests. So you'll sort of step up as you go, and it'll probably entail like some new zones for some of these quests, stuff like that. So there is a lot that has to go into those. I can't really speak a lot about timeline yet, but obviously, like we don't want to see a lot of people hitting that cap and kind of being stuck for too long. So I mean, I would expect it to be, in probably around the time that we're adding lands, you'll start to have other zones on the world map outside of the capital, which will be higher level stuff too for those areas. Like you'll have a place like for foraging out in some like spooky forest or something, or you'll have stuff like that out there as well. So, yep.
Cool, thanks.
Thanks. All right, Chubba Bubba. I'm going to invite you next. Come on down. And we're probably just going to have a few more of these. I don't want to keep all these developers here too long when they could be making progress on the game for us. But
Yeah,
go ahead,
let's
Chubba.
try to go to like 12:40 or 12:45.
Hey, all, can you hear me?
Yep.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Hey, guys, thanks. Real quick question on room costs. So as we anticipate the release of the ability to level up, the base room costs right now seem pretty much economically infeasible unless you have very deep pockets. So if we're representing maybe the portion of the player base that probably doesn't have 30 heroes, can't find a bunch of runes, and doesn't have the deep pockets to shell out just for the very first level, right now the prices would be pretty steep in jewel costs. So the question is there anything we're going to see maybe like we saw with tiers, where we see that economy balance out, we see maybe drops increase, airdrops, and do you have anything like that, or have you anticipated or talked about anything related to the rune economy?
Yeah, that's a good question, because as you start to level up, it'll cost like 2 runes for level 2, 3 for level 3, etc. Actually, no, that's wrong. It's still 1 for level 2, and then 2 for 3, and 2 for 4, and then 3 for 5, 3 for 6, etc. But yeah, that will increase over time, and there will be other runes too, which will increase you to higher than level 10. It is one of those things that it's kind of an aspect of the play to earn, where you can kind of have choices as you're questing and as you're earning things, to either like use those items yourself to further your sort of like investment in your own heroes, or to sell those to like other players as well. So on the one hand, having the strong economic I guess like drive for having those items is important. On the other hand, we do always look at how things are currently playing out, and if things aren't quite at the place we want them to be, then we will update some of those things too, as it is needed. Like with tiers, you saw that we kind of shifted around some of the stuff there with the rates. A lot of the reasons why the tiers were so expensive upstart was because there weren't really any quests to earn them. and then after we started to release those quests and they started to flow more, it's had it sort of like reach like a equilibrium there. So you'll see things like that too, where we'll probably add other ways if it is, and just kind of always be monitoring those things.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. We keep looking at those metrics and making sure that things are flowing well. I would say to start off with, our intent has always been that it should be fairly easy to level up the first few levels, right? You know, and then it's going to get progressively harder. So you're going to have to do more quests, and you have to going to be more specific about who you choose to level up. You're not going to get all of your heroes up to, the high levels. So starting off should be easy, and if it's not easy, if it's almost impossible for some people, we are going to have to change how that is working. But we will keep an eye on it for sure.
And also, just a real quick thing along those lines, we are like really cognizant of every time that we change anything with like some of the rates or how it actually plays out, that it impacts all of our players. So what we'd like to start doing is anytime we have something like that, we would like to make a new proposal for like everyone to actually have like a vote on and just kind of see what people say. And I can't guarantee that everything that everybody wants will actually make it into a proposal, because obviously there are times that stuff just, even though everyone wants it, it's not really what's good for the game. But we would like to involve the community quite a lot more in that, like for stuff that will be in the future, and then having the whole concept of having like a DAO where everybody has a say in like how we alter things in this game and how we add things to the game is important to us as a team.
All right. Bandit, I'm going to invite you down next. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Great. Hope everyone's doing well. I just had one question. Are there plans on holding any special events when we reach certain milestones? For example, hitting a certain TVL or expanding onto the new blockchains once it gets launched. An example of that would be, reducing stamina regeneration or things like that.
Yeah, Hubert has also been talking about that a lot too, where we could have certain times where maybe have like a week where stamina will like regenerate faster, or have maybe a few days where a certain item will have a higher drop rate in that like window of time, to have sort of like in-game events, I guess you could say. So yeah, that is things we have talked about for sure. And then as far as like the TVL and stuff like that goes, we're not as concerned necessarily with like price points or TVL, but we do have airdrops to kind of like celebrate some of those milestones that we do, where from like the marketing side of things, I guess, to just kind of encourage everyone to share with their friends and that type of stuff, and earn some stuff over on that front.
Yep, agreed. I think just kind of on top of that, as we expand into chains, you can start expecting, cross-chain maybe questing or some sort of events that, we do want to celebrate. We do want to make sure that people are getting to explore and see the new content. So we'll probably have some stuff planned around that. And there's nothing to say that, if TVL hits a certain point that, you might, I'm not saying anything here at all, but, there's an opportunity for quests that might be specific to certain things in the game. So I'd love to see a bank quest, at some point, that maybe somebody in the bank can have a special thing that you can do once a certain level is unlocked. But those types of things are just, we want to keep those doors open because we love the idea of just these fun little concepts. But I'm just spitballing. I'm not saying anybody's talked about that one specifically, but I'd love to see that kind of thing happen when we hit certain milestones, or certain number of players in the game, or certain things get, the land is growing and changing, and just experiencing new things is always fun.
All right, guys, I think we got time for just one more. Gab, I'm going to go ahead and invite you down.
I'm pretty new to DeFi Kingdom. I did not understand why for example, generation 10 or 11 are so expensive, but I don't see the point, the utility in the game. So I expect that if I spend more to arrive there, then I can use somehow differently. In fact, I see that there are very few generation 10 or 11, for example, heroes in the game. So maybe do you have some future plans for that?
Yeah, so how it's currently set up is the higher generations have, I guess, the opportunities and the actual mutation abilities to like have those advanced classes. So the earlier generations are kind of more for like creating more heroes, and like the ones that are later have already had to pass through a few different I guess like rounds of selecting genes. So it has the ability for you to really tailor your heroes for certain stuff like quests and PvP and that type of stuff. So I would say from that standpoint, it's kind of like in balance that the uh, higher generation heroes could potentially be more powerful because of those things and the advanced classes and the ability to really like tailor them. So at the same time, though, it'll have ability to create other heroes. So ROI on those is a lot more towards having the most effective hero for quests and for some of those like tournaments and things that we do, and a lot less in just like raw creating new heroes and that type of stuff as well. So it's really just kind of a balance.
Yeah, I would say from my perspective is you could take any heroes and just start summoning all the way till level 10, right? You're going to pay more and more each time as you get, closer to those higher levels. But we wanted to make sure that it's worth it, right? If you're taking two common heroes that have pretty, bad stats and they don't really mix well, their genes aren't going to create some new advanced class, then we wanted to make it less appealing, right? So that, hey, this costs too much for me to put these together. So on the other hand, you're never going to find a level 1 or a generation 1 Dread Knight, right? You just can't do it that way. So we wanted to have a nice flow going from here's our Gen 0s, Gen 1, Gen 2, and the further you get down the road, hopefully the genes that are being put together, there's been some research put into them and people have determined, yeah, this is worth the cost to keep going down these paths. Otherwise, those generations kind of die out and we have, family pools or genes that maybe just don't make it all the way. But ultimately, that will be the goal is if there is, some of those later generations that hopefully they have better stats, that they've been matched up along the way to get really good professions or class types and rarities. And so, yeah, that's just generally what we wanted it to look like. Instead of people just mass producing heroes that get cheaper and cheaper each generation, we wanted to be very deliberate about what heroes we're producing in later generations. And then, like Fox said, there will be utility. Those heroes will potentially be more overpowered than others could be.
Awesome. Well, that is our time for today's AMA. I hope everybody really liked this little bit of a change to our format. We're always trying to make everything involved with the project better and more fun. So we're going to be moving this way for a little bit. I want to give the floor to these amazing teammates of mine, and if they have any final thoughts or any final remarks, and then we'll all get back to work.
Yeah, I've talked a lot already, but I just wanted to give a final remark that, we're super excited about the future of this game. There's a lot of really cool stuff that we could do, a lot of cool stuff that's already in the works, and that we're very happy to get into your hands as soon as we can. But just in general, the idea of what this game can be and the community that's behind it is something that gets me really excited. So, we're looking at all of these great ideas are wonderful. In the meantime, we do have some very specific things that we know we'll be doing so that we can say, we are getting the meditation circle out this week, and we are going to be doing the additional questing, this month, and a few other things that have been hinted at, but maybe not solidified yet. But there's some exciting stuff coming up. I'm looking forward to it. I love the plans that we have in place, and I love all the conceptual ideas we've thrown around, and just excited to see what comes of it. It's going to be a fun ride. So thanks, everyone.
Yeah. You want to go first, Beetle, and then I'll close it up? And if you're talking, we can't hear you. There might be something with your mic. Maybe I'll just speak for Beetle. I'm the smartest guy on the team, and I carry everyone, and I'm happy to be here. That was Beetle. No, so for me, I kind of feel like I'm honestly in like the best spot here because I get to see all of the things that everybody's working on all throughout the week, and there's so many things that are going on, so many initiatives, so many things that are in the works, and it's just really amazing to see the amount of work that's going into this project, the amount of skills, the amount of talent, and there's so many exciting things that I can't even talk about at this point that I'm just really excited for the future. So really happy for everyone who came here. Just like wanted to say like a big thank you to the community. You guys are awesome. You guys are the reason why we're here, and you guys are the reason why this is such a huge success. So just want to say thank you to everyone, and really looking forward to all the big things this week. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everybody.
See ya.